Behind closed doors in Washington, the blueprint for the next global financial system is already on the table. When it goes live, money will move in seconds instead of days. Trillions in trapped capital will be freed overnight, and the United States will hold the switch. This isn't about launching another coin to speculate on. It's about replacing the ancient banking infrastructure with rails that run in real time and give policymakers unprecedented control, and the people inside the room already know exactly which technology will power it. This isn't about a new coin to cheer. It's about replacing the ancient banking system with something that actually works at modern speed. You can hear the shift in the way leaders are talking. Not long ago, a speech made the point in plain language: the entire ancient banking system will be eligible for a 21st century upgrade using the state-of-the-art crypto technology. There was no ticker mentioned. There didn't need to be. The phrase that matters is upgrade, and the target is the plumbing, not a speculative trophy. Then came the line that removed all doubt about where this is supposed to live. This morning on Fox News, SEC Chair Paul Atkins said, "We're here to help the president with his intention to make America the crypto capital of the world and have the world run on American technology." Read that again. Help the president. Crypto capital of the world. The world run on American technology. That isn't a blog post. That's a public statement of intent from the top of the agency that writes the rules. And yesterday, Scott Bennett closed the door that people kept trying to pry open. He said they're not going to buy Bitcoin for the strategic reserve. That isn't an attack on anyone. It's a signal. This plan isn't about stashing a volatile asset on a balance sheet. It's about building rails that move value quickly and cleanly under the rules, with visibility that satisfies regulators and liquidity that frees working capital in the real economy. While those lines were hitting the air, the real work has continued behind closed doors. Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse and senior leaders have been at private dinners with the president and in policy rooms where language gets drafted before it ever hits a podium. That isn't what you do with a science project. That's how you brief in critical infrastructure before the rest of the world sees a rollout. Now connect those signals to the system that already exists. Instead of parking money in Nostro and Vostro accounts across dozens of countries, the network uses on-demand liquidity. When a payment is sent, it sources the local currency, converts into a bridge asset for a heartbeat, and delivers the destination currency on the other side. Funds arrive in seconds. Counterparty risk collapses. Compliance teams get cleaner records. The end user only knows that the money showed up on time. This isn't a pitch deck. It's already live. In Southeast Asia, a major payout hub switched on-demand liquidity across more than 24 corridors and stopped pre-funding altogether. In Japan and the Philippines, remittance flows that used to take days began landing in minutes. Corridors in the Middle East and Africa have come online with the same pattern. Turn on the bridge. Move value instantly. Release trapped capital. Repeat. Legal clarity is the other piece that has been hiding in plain sight. After years of noise, a federal court drew a bright line. Programmatic sales of the asset on public exchanges weren't investment contracts. Certain direct institutional sales require different treatment. That map matters. It tells exchanges they can serve normal flow without pretending every trade is a securities transaction. It tells banks exactly which paths need added guardrails and which ones are already clear. If you step back, the picture stops being mysterious. The president talks about upgrading an ancient banking system with state-of-the-art crypto technology. The SEC chair says the mission is to make America the crypto capital of the world and to have the world run on American technology. The reserve decision takes Bitcoin out of the story. Ripple's leadership keeps showing up in rooms where policy is made, and the rails that make instant, compliant foreign exchange possible are live right now. How many candidates fit every one of those facts at the same time? Here is the answer you already know. The bridge at the center of that system is XRP. Say it calmly. This isn't about a hype cycle. It is the asset that lets dollars become pesos, yen, or dirhams in seconds, then disappear so the end user never has to think about it. It's the piece that removes the need to park idle cash around the world. It's the piece that turns settlement time from a risk into a solved problem and gives policymakers something they can see and supervise. There is a reason the quiet part of this story is all about operations. Treasury teams care about how fast they can release working capital. Payment firms care about failure rates and fraud controls. Banks care about pre-funding and counterparty exposure. Regulators care about audit trails and jurisdiction. A neutral bridge that runs like software, slots into existing compliance tools, and settles in seconds gives each one of those players what they need without asking the public to learn new vocabulary. You can also feel why the message is coded. The most powerful financial shifts don't arrive as slogans. They arrive as a stack of actions so obvious in hindsight that people claim they saw it all along. Quotes about upgrading the ancient system. A raid later saying the world will run on American technology. A clear court record that outlines what's compliant. Quiet dinners where the people who built the rails sit down with the people who manage the country. Live corridors proving scale. None of it screams. All of it points in the same direction. Let's talk about what changes when the switch stays on. Small remitters stop tying up cash just to keep corridors open. Mid-sized banks compete in markets they used to avoid because they couldn't afford trapped balances. Corporates cut settlement lags out of supply chains and invoice flows. Compliance stops living in a maze of email threads and starts pulling clean records from systems that were designed to be audited. Those are the wins that make adoption a one-way door. Policy follows results. As regulators shift from scattershot enforcement to clear licensing and disclosures that make sense for networks, the safest path becomes the path that's already working. Keep innovation here. Keep oversight here. Keep the jobs and the leverage here. That's how a country turns technology into power. And it's why the phrase "the world will run on American technology" matters so much more than a headline about reserves ever could. One more point for anyone still arguing the wrong question. This isn't about whether a coin should be in a vault. It's about whether the United States will control the rails that move value between every vault on Earth. A bridge that's legally clarified for exchange trading, deployed in live corridors, and built by an American company that keeps getting invited back to the table isn't a guess. It's an answer that has already been tested in production. If you can read between the lines, you can't miss it. The quotes are not random. The meetings are not photo ops. The corridors are not experiments. They're a reveal in slow motion. The United States is telling you where this goes and how it will run. The name arrives late on purpose. The evidence arrives first, so the conclusion feels like common sense. XRP is the hidden financial weapon because it makes the rest of the story viable. It turns speed and clarity into policy tools. It turns cross-border friction into compliance data. It turns trapped cash into working capital that can be pointed at growth. It gives the people with their hands on the levers something solid to work with, while everyone else just sees that the money moves when it should. If you want the unfiltered breakdown of the forces that actually decide where markets go next, subscribe now and stay with us for the next chapter.